Can you hear my sound? Okay, we are resuming. So before this interruption, we were discussing about different models. Out of them, one was a regression model, which is the agenda of the today's lecture, and other are basically the classification and clustering. Classification is used whenever we have qualitative response variable. Most probably it is binary, or we have 3 or 4 options. In that case, we use classification. And clustering is known as whenever we does not have the data regarding with the class variable, we use clustering. It is known as unsupervised learning. Clustering is unsupervised learning, and classification is a supervised learning. So basically these are the two techniques. One is known as supervised learning, when we have the values of the class variable in the data, and if the class variable does not have its values in the data, then we call the procedure as unsupervised learning. Regression is a supervised learning, classification is a supervised learning, while clustering is a unsupervised learning. तो वी जी जी ask repeat this.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay. Classification is a supervised learning, while clustering is unsupervised. Regression is also fall under the supervised learning. So these are basically the two types of modeling, but we have to focus on the regression here. One thing which is the next after choosing the model, which in this case or in this example, we will use the regression model. We have to test the assumption of that model. And if the assumptions fulfill, then you have to learn the model. Model learning means basically the model fitting. So you have to fit the model in that case. Model learning, and then after fitting the model or after learning the model, you have to test the model whether it is good for the specific scenario or it is inappropriate. If we have a high value of residual means the high error. If the error is high, then you have to choose another model, or if we have a small amount of error, then we can proceed with the same model. The model basically tested with the help of residuals. I will explain the difference between, someone is asking SM Oways that what is the difference between the supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning, suppose you have a data set of the example that we will discuss in this lecture. One variable is revenue, other variable is marketing total, one variable is Google ad, other variable is Facebook ad, and media, TV or any other media we are using for advertisement. So in this case, revenue is the dependent variable, and we have the cases of marketing total is itna and revenue will be itna. We have the Google ad itna, revenue itna, and so on. So after implementing these different values, we have values of revenue. In the second example or the second case, we have the values of, so this is called label data. Label data means we have the values of class variables for the past data. So if you have the values of the dependent variable for the past data, then you can apply a model which is named as supervised learning. In contrast, in some cases, we are interested to predict a variable, and in reality we do not have the past values of this dependent variable. Only we have a set of independent variable. With the help of these independent variables, we are interested to predict to group the different values of the customers, in which we want to make some clusters. In what are the characteristics of these customers that falls within this cluster, and what are the characteristics of these customers which fall in the second cluster. So clustering is basically a technique in which we do not have any dependent variable in the data set. So that type of technique is known as unsupervised learning. Forecasting is another thing. After testing the model, the final step, using it for predictions. So basically that is the step that you are asking. So that step is to be used whenever the completion of the testing of the model is successful. If the model is not successful, model testing is not successful, then you have to revisit the either these steps. Either choose another model or test the assumptions for the new selected model, and then learn the new model and then again test that. So this is basically the iterative procedure. In this iterative procedure, we have to take the final model after the step of successful testing. If the model testing is not successful, then you have to repeat these steps again and again and again. So they basically, these are the steps in statistical or mathematical modeling. Now we are going to formally start the lecture related with the linear model. The two presentations are here. In the first presentation, we have a very simple case in which a variable which is dependent variable is the price in thousands of dollars of the cars, and the second variable that we have is the age of car in years. A 5-year old car has been sold in $8,500, and a 6-year old car was sold in $7,000, and so on. So these are the 11 sample values we have, which are randomly chosen, and your dependent variable is y, and your independent variable is x. So in this case, we are interested to predict the y with the help of predictor x. The model is referred to as simple linear model. The first thing to implement the model is to check the correlation among the price of car and the age of car. If you have a strong correlation between the price and the age of car, so we can say that we can predict price with the help of age. If this correlation is not significant, then that is an indication that age is not giving us a better predictor for predicting price. So initially, to implement the regression model, you first have to check the correlation among the dependent variable with all independent variable pair by pair. So we can call it as a pairwise relationship. Pairwise relationship of dependent variable with the first predictor and relationship between the dependent variable with the second predictor if we have more than one predictors. If we have only one predictor, as in this case, simple case, price and age, if this correlation is high, then we can say that the price of car can be predicted with the help of age. If we have a very weak correlation among these two variables, we can say that it is not helpful to predict price with the help of the age of car. In this example, as the age of car increasing, the price of car becomes small. So we can have a downward trend in this data. We call it as a negative correlation. So negative correlation is indicating that the age of car is increasing, then simultaneously the price of car becomes small. In the reverse end, we can say that for a newer car, the price is high. For the older car, the price is low. So we can say that we have a negative correlation among that. So, but the correlation is strong. How we can say that the correlation is strong? Because the data points are very close to this predicted line. If the data points are very close to each other and clustered near to this line, we can call it as a strong correlation. If the data points are away from this line, above and below the line, so we call it as a weak correlation. So weak correlation means the predicting the dependent variable with the independent variable is not too accurate. The strong correlation means the strong evidence of predicting the price with the age, or a strong precision and predictions of price with the help of age. So that is basically initial step in which you have to check the correlation among the variable. You can find the value of correlation by a formula, covariance of xy divided by variance of x, variance of y, and the square root of that. I am not interested to give you the mechanical calculation of finding correlation, because software will give you the value of correlation and you have just to check whether these values of the correlation are suitable for the model, or you have to revisit your data or your model for taking some decisions about that specific model. And the procedure of finding the model parameters. We initially suggest a linear model by looking at this graph. That linear model is what? That linear model is y, which is your predicting variable, is equal to the b naught plus, which is your y-intercept, plus b1, which is your slope, and x, which is your age of car, and plus error. This model is referred to as simple linear model. In this simple linear model, this is your dependent variable which you want to predict. This is your independent variable, one independent variable, which is in this case age of car. These two are the model parameters or the weights which are to be estimated with the help of data. So actual objective in model fitting or model learning is to estimate these two parameters. इन दोनों parameters को estimate करना ये सबसे पहली और primary responsibility है model fitting में. फिर इसके बाद इनकी values की hypothesis testing करना और ये सब अगले steps हैं. But initially the steps of model learning is to estimate these parameters. Final term in this model is known as the random factor or the random variable. This random variable have certain assumptions. What that assumptions are? These assumptions are basically the errors are normally distributed with the mean 0 and the variance sigma square. These are the assumptions of this random variable, which is referred to as error. So I think you have understood the model, the elements of the model, and your initial step is to estimate these two parameters, beta naught and beta 1. The process of estimating these two betas is basically the known as method of least square. So what the method of least square is? Method of least square is a procedure of obtaining these estimates of parameters. And the method of least square says that error sum of square is least. This is known as method of least square. Error E epsilon and square of that and sum of that. This is referred to as SSE. What the SSE is, SSE stands for the sum of square of error. So this is your sum. This is your square. And this is the error. Error sum of square, and this error sum of square should be least. Okay, I am giving you the opportunity. जो questions आ रहे हैं मैं उसको answer कर दूं पहले. What is the second assumption? देखिए assumptions तो अभी हमने ज़्यादा discuss नहीं किए, लेकिन एक assumption उनमें से ये था कि errors are normally distributed and a random variable, and it has the mean 0 and it has a variance sigma square. So these are basically the assumptions about the error. And remaining assumptions of the regression will be discussed later on these slides. Lekin initial assumptions are, these two assumptions are related with the errors. If the error fulfills the assumptions, then we may proceed for the remaining steps of the statistical modeling. Now moving next, after finding an expression for the SSE, we can find the expression for the SSE in a very simple way, and that way is the model. This is your model, and we are interested in what? We are interested in the SSE. E. So initially we have E. What is E in this model? In this model, E is this. If I kept E on one side and the remaining things on the other side, then this is equal to E is equal to Y minus B naught minus B1. This is your E. E stands for epsilon or error or residual. And what this is your E. So this is E actually. Now you have to take a square on both sides. This is E square. So if you take the square on the right side, so this is your E square. And you have to apply a sum, which is sigma. So this is your sum. So totally it is called SSE. I am writing a very simple expression for the SSE is sum square of error. Error is what? Y minus B naught minus B1x. This is your error, the value of error, which is obtained by taking these three terms. Take these two terms on the left side. These will be negative terms and y will be the positive term. This is error. This is square of error. This is sum of square of error. Then you have to apply an optimization procedure, and that optimization procedure is we have to find these two parameters B0 and B1 in such a way that this expression becomes least. Okay, this expression becomes least. So you have to apply the optimization procedure, and all of you are familiar that optimization procedure. You have to differentiate this expression with respect to beta naught and equate to 0. You will get one complete equation. Then again you have to differentiate this expression with respect to the beta 1 and then equate to 0. You will get one complete another equation. Now you have two linear equations, and by solving these two linear equations simultaneously, you will have the values of beta naught and beta 1. So that is basically the statistical procedure and mathematical procedures as well, because optimization is basically a topic that all of you are familiar in your calculus. So beta naught and beta 1 can be estimated by using method of least square. So we are not interested here to show all the steps of these optimization, and I am just giving you the final output of that. And what is the final output of that? The final output is this is your SSE and this is your these are the outputs. Your beta naught after solving these equations simultaneously, and your beta naught is this. These are the two formulas for beta naught and beta 1. And how these two formulas are obtained? These two formulas are obtained by using the minimization of the SSE with respect to B naught and with respect to B1. So this is basically the procedure which is behind the entire theory of linear model. If anyone have any question, then you can unmute yourself and ask the question. जी सलमान हैदर
सर
जी
सर ये SSXY और SSX क्या चीज है?
देखें these are basically the numerator of the formula of variance. ये देखें आप, वेरियंस का फार्मूला क्या होता है? x माइनस मीन का होल स्क्वायर का सम, और इसको अगर मैं n-1 या n से डिवाइड कर दूं तो ये वेरियंस बन जाता है. तो SS स्टैंड्स फॉर द सम ऑफ स्क्वायर. तो इसमें सिर्फ सम है और ये स्क्वायर है, ये n नहीं है, तो इसको मैं वेरियंस नहीं कह सकता. इट इज जस्ट सम ऑफ स्क्वायर. तो SSX x का वेरियंस का न्यूमरेटर, y के वेरियंस का न्यूमरेटर, और ये XY का जो कोवेरियंस निकलता है उसका न्यूमरेटर. तो मैंने भी आपको कोरिलेशन में तीन चीजें बताई थी. कोरिलेशन के फार्मूले में एक चीज थी कोवेरियंस XY, नीचे था उसके वेरियंस x, वेरियंस y. तो अगर मैं कोरिलेशन का फार्मूला दोबारा लिखूं तो देखें यूं लिखा जाएगा वो SS XY divided by SSX SSY, इसका भी रूट, इसका भी रूट। ये जो न्यूमरेटर में है ये अगर मैं n से डिवाइड कर दूं दिस विल बिकम्स द कोवेरियंस, इसको अगर मैं n से डिवाइड कर दूं दिस विल बिकम्स द x का वेरियंस, इसको अगर मैं n से डिवाइड कर दूं दिस विल बिकम्स द y का वेरियंस। तो मैंने जो कोवेरियंस डिवाइडेड बाय द टू वेरियंसेस वही फार्मूला है कोरिलेशन का। तो SSX SSY इसके कुछ सिंपल वर्जन्स हैं। कैन यू राइट द फार्मूला अगेन फॉर द एरर? एरर का फार्मूला इज सिंपल, you can write the formula of error by using this expression. In this expression this is error. तो एरर अगर आपको अलग करना है, आइसोलेट करना है, इन दोनों को उधर ले जाएं, इसको और इसको, तो फार्मूला ऑफ एरर बन जाएगा ये y माइनस बी नॉट माइनस b1x. दिस इज द फार्मूला ऑफ एरर। और आपको इसमें दो स्टेप्स करने हैं आफ्टर फाइंडिंग द फार्मूला ऑफ एरर। एरर का स्क्वायर करना है दोनों साइड पे और इसका सम करना है। तो अब ये SSE पूरा हो गया। तो पहले स्टेप में एरर निकालिए, दूसरे स्टेप में एरर का स्क्वायर कीजिए, तीसरे स्टेप में एरर का सम कीजिए, अगले स्टेप में इसको मिनिमाइज कीजिए। मिनिमाइज करने का देखिए तरीका आप लोगों ने कैलकुलस में लर्न किया था। मिनिमाइज करने का तरीका क्या होता है? यू हैव टू डिफरेंशिएट द एक्सप्रेशन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द पैरामीटर्स दैट इज टू बी एस्टिमेटेड। तो ये दो पैरामीटर एस्टिमेट करने, एक बीटा नॉट एक बीटा वन। तो एक दफा आप इसको मिनिमाइज कीजिए बीटा नॉट से, फिर इसको मिनिमाइज कीजिए बीटा वन से, और जब ये दो इक्वेशंस आ जाएंगी उसको साइमल्टेनियसली सॉल्व कर लीजिए। बाय साइमल्टेनियस सॉल्यूशन ऑफ दीज टू इक्वेशंस यू विल हैव दीज टू फार्मूलाज ऑफ बीटा नॉट एंड बीटा वन। जी, एनी क्वेश्चन?
सर ये एक्स एंड वाई किधर से आएंगे जो एरर इक्वेशन के अंदर है?
देखिए x तो इसमें आपका इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल है, डेटा से आएगा, और y आपका डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल है, ये डेटा से आएगा। तो वो जो 10 कार का डेटा मैंने दिखाया आपको, जिसमें आपको प्राइस और वो दिए हुए थे, ये x और y हैं। आपने क्या करना है? आपने तो सिर्फ ये करना है, देखें ये x का फार्मूला है, SXX निकालना है ना आपको। ये इसके लिए बेसिकली फार्मूला ये रहा। आप क्या कीजिए, x का स्क्वायर का एक कॉलम बना लीजिए। ये आपको करना नहीं है सारा, क्योंकि हम R में कर लेंगे इसको सारा, लेकिन आप थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंडिंग बिल्ड कर लें। एक्स स्क्वायर का कॉलम बना लें, उसका टोटल निकाल लें, वो यहाँ रख दें। एक्स का टोटल निकाल लें, वो यहाँ रख दें, एन से डिवाइड कर दें, और ये सब सॉल्व कर लें। एस एक्स एक्स आ गया। एस एक्स वाई कैसे आ गया? वाई का स्क्वायर निकाल लें एक कॉलम, इसका टोटल निकाल लें, ये टोटल यहाँ रखें, वाई का टोटल यहाँ रखें, इसका स्क्वायर करें, एन से डिवाइड करें, ये ऐसे आया आ गया आपका। इसी तरह से आप एक और कॉलम बना लें एक्स इंटू वाई का, एक्स इंटू वाई का टोटल निकाल लें, जो टोटल आएगा वो यहाँ रख दें, एक्स का टोटल यहाँ रख दें, वाई का टोटल यहाँ रख दें, एन यहाँ रख दें। इससे आपका एस एक्स वाई आ गया। जब ये तीनों आ गए तो आपने यहाँ बीटा वन निकाल लिया और बीटा टू निकाल लिया। इज दिस क्लियर?
यस सर।
ओके, तो डेटा पे देखें, सारी चीज डेटा पे आएगी। अगर आप इसको एक्सेल में करेंगे तो ये सारे कॉलम वन बाय वन शो करने पड़ेंगे, लेकिन अगर हम आर में करते हैं तो हमें डायरेक्ट एस्टिमेट्स मिल जाएंगे। आर का फायदा यही है, और मैं कोर्स को इसीलिए देखें आपको लॉजिकली और थ्योरेटिकली तो सब कुछ समझा रहा हूं, लेकिन मैं इसकी मैथमेटिकल कैलकुलेशन में आपको यूं नहीं ले जाना चाह रहा कि वी आर बेसिकली इम्प्लीमेंटिंग द केस स्टडीज हियर। बस उससे बीटा नॉट और बीटा वन आएगा, हम अपने इंटरप्रिटेशन करके रिग्रेशन मॉडल बना लेंगे, एंड देन टेकिंग द डिसीजन ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट आफ्टर checking assumptions. If the assumptions fulfilled and the model is good, so we can proceed for the predictions. If the assumptions are not fulfilled, the model is not good. So we have to revisit the model, we have to revisit the data, we have to rethink over the procedure, और फिर उसको repeatedly हमें सारा करना है जब तक कि good model ना मिल जाए, then we can move iteratively to these steps. Any question? Okay. Beta naught and beta 1, other formulas are given here, beta 1 ka, beta naught ka. You can use this formula as well. Beta naught and beta 1. Beta naught is called y-intercept. y-intercept, or beta 1 is known as slope or the gradient. The slope of the model is beta 1 and y-intercept of the model is beta naught. अगर इसको मैं उस पे एक्सप्लेन करूं x एंड y एक्सेस पे, तो फिर आपका ये जो मैंने लाइन अभी बनाई थी, ये डॉट्स थे, प्राइस ऑफ कार, और अब मैंने जो लाइन बनाई वो ये बनाई. तो ये जो वैल्यू है, दिस इज योर बीटा नॉट. This is your beta naught slope, sorry, y-intercept, where the line cutting the y-axis is referred to as y-intercept. Or slope is what? Slope is basically rise and fall. ये जो आपका डिस्टेंस है ये, और ये जो डिस्टेंस है ये, इसका रेशियो ले लें. ये लिखा हुआ देखें, एक्स एक्स वाई और एस एक्स एक्स. ये y और ये x का जैसे आप ये लेंगे रेशियो, दिस रेशियो इज इंटरसेप्ट बीटा 1. तो बीटा 1 और बीटा नॉट जब आ जाएंगे, हम लाइन बना सकते हैं ये. तो दैट इज बेसिकली द फिटिंग ऑफ द मॉडल. नाउ मूविंग नेक्स्ट. एज एंड प्राइस, डिटरमिन द लीनियर इक्वेशन, ये सब अभी करके दिखाएं आपको. देखें अब इसमें हमने ये तो अच्छा एक्सेल बेस्ड किया हुआ है. इसमें एक्सेल बेस आप देख लें, लेकिन हम वी आर नॉट रिक्वायरिंग कि जी एक्सेल बेस आप जो है ना वो हर एग्जाम्पल में करें, क्योंकि वहाँ पर लार्ज डेटा सेट होगा, हम डायरेक्टली सॉफ्टवेयर से कर लेंगे. लेकिन इनिशियली ये दिखाया गया इसमें, जिसमें हमारे पास x है और y है, एंड वी हैव x square and xy. These two columns are formed, and then summations are to be calculated. These summations are to be substituted in the formula of beta naught and beta 1. So the value of beta naught is 195.47. And the value of beta 1 is 20.26. So 20.26 is the beta 1 and 195.47 is the beta naught. Now my question is to Hamza Shafiq. Can you interpret 20.26? What this number is indicating? जी, Asim Arshad. Can you answer this question? You can unmute yourself and give answer. Ji, Danish Abdul Razak, can you interpret?
It is
Negative correlation.
Sorry? Who is answering?
20.26 is the slope, sir.
नहीं, slope तो है, 20.26 is the slope. Can you hear me? मेरी आवाज आ रही है आप लोगों को? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
जी सर आ रही है सर स्क्रीन चली गई
Sir, we cannot hear you.
Okay. $2,026 will be reduced after each year. So our depreciation factor is that. So that is an interpretation of slope. The 1 unit change in age of car will causing $2,026 reduction in price. And what is indicating 195.47?
ये रैंडम एरर है रैंडम एरर
What is 195.47? Can any one of you explain this 195.47?
सर ये ब्रांड न्यू कार की प्राइस है मतलब
ये
zero-
ब्रांड न्यू कार की प्राइस है. इसका मतलब है कि ये x जीरो है. Whenever the x is zero, क्योंकि y इंटरसेप्ट इसी को लेकर रिप्रेजेंट करता है. ये इंडिकेट कर रहा है कि एज तो हुई नहीं है. ये तो एज ही है, एक्स एक्सिस पे जा रही थी यहाँ या यहाँ. तो एज ना जीरो से आगे गई है लेफ्ट साइड पे ना राइट साइड पे. तो एज जीरो पे है तो ये इसकी प्राइस है. तो ये 195 का मतलब है ये उस वक्त की प्राइस है जबकि अभी जो कार का 1 साल भी पूरा नहीं हुआ है. 195.47 का मतलब है 19547. ठीक है. So this is $19,547. Is this okay? Okay. So this is basically our new model. And this model we have estimated the beta naught and the beta 1. These two are referred to as model parameters. And the estimates of these parameters are beta naught and beta 1. The next is okay, I am just completing this one simple linear model. After that, we will give you a short break for namaz, Maghrib. After estimating these two parameters, we have to check the model assumptions. So your first step is to identify the objectives. Objective was what? What effect of age is there on the price of car? That was the objective. To determine the effect of age on the price of car. This was the objective. In this objective, we have analyzed the data with the help of linear model. The two parameters were estimated, beta naught and beta 1, and the model is estimated, or model is fitted, or we can use we have learned the model right now. After the model learning, we have to check the assumptions of the model and test whether the accuracy of the model is what. So after the Namaz-e-Maghrib, we will describe the assumptions and the procedure of testing the model. We have a break for Namaz-e-Maghrib now.